everybody, and welcome to the first race of the VTuber Racing 2024 season. For those unaware and new to this kind of content, this will be where I'll talk a lot about what to expect here going forward for the next couple of months. The VTuber Racing season is going to consist of 37 VTubers all racing around 30 different tracks and 30 different races to crown one champion at the end of the season. Before we get super deep into the points format and the schedule at hand, we first have to find out who the 37 drivers are for this season. All 37 drivers will be revealed in a video coming up here just momentarily. After that said video, I will be going over some of the tracks that we will be going to in the first few weeks. I'll reveal all of them as we go through the season. And I'll also be revealing what the points format is going to be like so you know what to expect as we go through the season. During the pre-race intros like you will be seeing here right now, I will normally be going over point situations, battles that were going on in the last race, even going through some of the highlights of the last race. Since this is the first race, I really don't have any of that to give off, so I'm going to just kind of have to wing it. So now let's take a look at the 37 drivers taking part in the VTuber Racing 2024 season. Now that we have seen all 37 cars and drivers, let's take a moment to talk about the point system that's going to be used throughout the entire season. It is a pretty simple point system when you look at it from a basic perspective. First place will be awarded with 43 points as a baseline, and then 1 point down for each position downwards, as simple as what is shown on screen right now. However, there's also a few bonus points added as well. The winner of the race will also receive a 3-point bonus immediately afterwards for winning a race, and they will also receive a point bonus for leading a singular lap. Now, anybody in the race can earn this said bonus point for leading a lap, so if 12th place ends up leading a lap instead of 32 points like they normally would get, they would instead get 33 points. There's also another bonus point added as well for the driver who leads the most amount of laps. So, if let's say 2nd place ends up leading the most amount of laps, instead of 42 points, they'll end up receiving 44 because they'll get the bonus point for leading the most laps and leading a lap. The winner can theoretically receive a maximum number of 48 points if they are the dominant car of the race that ends up winning the race. But most times than not, you will see a driver win about 47 points because they'll win a race and lead a lap. And like I said, this will continue all the way down to last place, which will only receive a small handful amount of points. So each position is worth, theoretically, 1 point. Leading a lap will also help you gain a point as well, so if you're able to sniff out a lap lead, you will earn a singular point to help you out in your quest for the championship. I'm hoping that that explains it quite well, because it isn't really a complicated points format once you get down to bonus points and everything else. The format is pretty easy to understand, especially compared to some of the other points formats we could have been using. Thank God I didn't use some of those, because they would have been a lot harder to explain, really. Now that we have all that out of the way, now let's talk about some of the tracks that we will be heading to start this season. I'm not going to reveal every single racetrack at the moment, just because of the fact that it is a very, it'll take me quite some time. It will take me quite some time in order to go through all the races. We have 30 races to cover here, so I'll only give you the first 5 tracks, and then once we covered all 5 of those tracks, I'll reveal the next 5, and then after we cover those 5 tracks, then the next 5, if that makes sense. So our first race here is at Daytona, which you already know, given by the title of the video and the stream that you're watching. Daytona is our first race of the season, which is the 2-mile SuperSpeedway. For those unaware of what Daytona is like, well, you'll see a lot of it later today. It is going to be packed pretty much 3x3, side by side, of the closest racing we will have probably all season long. Not the only time we'll go to a SuperSpeedway track like Daytona. In fact, we also have a few others like Talladega down the list. We have California down the list, just to name a handful of SuperSpeedways that we will be going to, where we will be seeing a lot of racing like what we will be seeing here soon at Daytona. Our second race of the season takes us down south of the American border to Texas Motor Speedway, where another semi-super speedway at it is about 1.5 miles big, so we will be seeing some very high-speed action there. We also have a few road courses to cover here. We will have our first one in the third race of the season, where we take a trip outside the planet of Earth and into space, where we will be racing on the Rainbow Road. A very, very swinging right, left road course. We will also be showcasing off here in our first 5 races of the season some short track action, as we will be heading to Martinsville, the paperclip shaped short track. We will be seeing a bit of everything here in the first 5 races. And then our final stop here, for the first 5 races at least, will be at Dover, in Dover Downs, Delaware, where it is, if I remember correctly, the Monster Mile, and it is a mile big. So it is not the biggest track we will be seeing to start off this season, but it might still give us some entertainment. So we have a mix of everything here within the first 5 races here this season. 37 drivers, 30 races. Who is going to construct the most consistent season out of all of them? and win the championship? That is the main question that we will be following throughout the season. I'm telling you what, if you are not expecting anything crazy out of these first 5 races, well, you better set your expectations just a little bit higher, because it might be just a little bit more than you think. Daytona is the best way to get a first impression, so Daytona's just around the corner, and I'll send it down live trackside here just momentarily. But before I send it down to trackside, let's quickly go over the starting lineup for today's race. Now, today's qualifying is going to be a little bit special. Normally, it would just be the fastest car that runs a 2-lap sprint around the track. But today, since it is the first race of the season, the cars will be lined up from numerical order, highest number to lowest number. So that video that we just watched with all the drivers and the cars, that was actually the starting lineup for this race, going from the first car being shown starting in last place to the highest numerical car starting in first place. Albeit Soleil did end up getting a grid penalty just for the fact that it is a triple-digit number, and that's normally not allowed in this kind of sport. Though, for this time at least, Soleil will not be starting on the pole today. In fact, it'll be Simu in the 99 car who will be starting up front. Normally, when we will be doing the starting lineup, I will be going over the top 10 here, and I'll also be kind of doing it again from first to last. I'll be showing that off once we send it down trackside. I don't know what to expect. Neither does anybody watching this. Or at least I hope nobody knows what's going to be going on, because it is the first race of the season. There's been no sneak peeks yet. All you got to see was the cars and the drivers that will be racing them. So let's see how good some of them are and who will be the ones to watch as we move on with the season. Remember, Daytona, anything could happen. We're going to be seeing these cars packed up a lot. We're going to have 37 cars on track. I expect all of them to be in the pack for the most part until, I would say, either a wreck happens or pit stops happen. Either way, you're going to be seeing all 37 cars right next to each other. Again, not something that's going to be often done here this season. So Daytona is going to be a testament to who can survive, whereas when we get to Texas, once we get to Rainbow Road, once we get to Martinsville, and then Dover, that'll be a testament to who will be the more consistent driver. And those will be the ones that we will be watching more of. Now with that out of the way, let's get this intro video concluded, and let's send it down trackside for the race. Daytona being the birthplace of speed, this is where it all begins. And we're down here at trackside. This is going to get exciting. This is going to get exciting, no doubt about that. Welcome to Daytona Motor Speedway. 37 drivers on the grid, 103 laps around this track, little more than 250 miles around the SuperSpeedway. We'll get a bigger look at the track and how these cars run here in just a few moments, obviously. We're going to kind of get a little started here. I will go over the starting lineup here once more, just for those who may or may not have missed it. Because that video showcasing all the cars was a long video, not gonna lie. The entirety of that pre-race, that was a bit long, wasn't it? But that is out of the way, and now here we are today. We are just moments away from the cars rolling off the grid, and you will see pretty much everything in terms of how the cars are handling. As we will have the speeds up at the top of the screen to see here. We will also be showcasing off what position and their latest laps have been. Before we get into the actual race itself, let's look at these cars once more and let's go through the starting lineups here. So, in row number 1, we have the number 99 car of Simulance. And probably one of my favorite cars. Thank you for the sub there, Jimmer. Probably one of my favorite cars And they will be lining up alongside Noriboshi in the 94 car. And that concludes row number 1. Back in row number 2, we have Sprite in the 90 car, next to Dreamer in the 89 car. Go back another row, we have D in the 87, sitting right next to Hano Mizuki in the 86. We go back another row, back to 8th place, technically. Actually, sorry. Yeah, 8th place. This is 8th place right here. Fruit edging out just a little bit ahead over Nana in the 85. Then we go back to conclude the top 10. Got the number 78 right next to the number 77. 78 of Filian, number 77 of David. Then we go back outside the top 10. We have more Callie, I should say. Hard to pronounce. I always call her Mori, though. But Callie, as everybody knows her as, is the 73, starting right next to her HoloLive teammate, Kobo. There's a lot of HoloLive cars in this field, by the way. They are a threat in the championship. We go back just a little bit more. We see in 13th place, at least starting-wise, is the number 69 of Malcolm Bell. He will be starting alongside the number 64 of Luby. Don't look that far for her cousin, by the way, because there is Merriweather in the 60, starting right next to Fifi in the 53. Both of them sitting 15th and 16th, respectively. Once we get behind there, we're getting right next to the back half of the field, where we'll see the number 52 of Lubin and the number 47 of Reska Kyoso. Now we go back another row. This is to conclude the top 20, as we have Tairoki in the 41 sitting next to DM in the 37. Back in 21st, we have Project Melody in the 36, sitting next to Kason in the 32. Go back another row. There's Henya in the 30 car sitting next to Bao in the 26. We go back another row, and this is where we'll see 25th place starting spot, Star, sitting next to the number 22 of Iron Mouse. Now, here is the one that I was talking about earlier, Soleil, who got that grid penalty for having the triple-digit number, sitting all the way back in the very back of the field. They will be starting 27th, as Fu will be lined up next to them in 28th place. We get back to the very, very back of the field, no man's land, if you will. Got the number 12 of DJ Overdrive sitting next to the number 11 of Weebu. Get to some of the final spots here to start the race. We have number 10 of William taking on a huge task of going from the back to the front, and he's not alone here, as Bimble in the number 9 will take that role as well. Got a couple more drivers to go through here. The number 6 car of Lucky starting in the number 33rd spot. Watson starting just behind, next to her, I should say, in the 34th spot. Then we have Selene, Risu, and Gura rounding out the final 3 spots. A very tough task for all the drivers starting from the very back of the field. However, this is Daytona. If y'all don't know what Daytona is like, well, you're about to see it. The field is rolling off into turn number 1. We are ready for this season. 37 drivers across 30 different tracks and races. 103 laps around this track. Again, just slightly more than halfway of a normal Daytona 500. And those 3 extra laps are going to be crucial for somebody, but who will that role be? Lots of amazing views here today here at Daytona. We have a couple different views from our TV cameras that I'll use throughout the night. Down the Daytona super stretch into turn number 3. Look at how packed these boys are going to be. This is just under pacing. We haven't hit full song yet. You'll know when we do. Now, do keep in mind that every single one of these cars does technically have rookie stripes on the back of their cars, as well as their respective names. So do keep an eye on the back of these cars in case you are wondering who is who, but we'll also have a thing at the top that'll help out. Accidents, well, they're prominent here at Daytona. You'll probably see a big one here and there, but when will that strike? Who knows? Pace car is off. we are ready for the VR 2024 season. Simu leads the way, green flags in the air. A good jump by the number 99 car. Side by side for the lead into turn number 1. Simu's going to hold out, clear the outside line. We better hold on, because here comes that 90 car. Sprite looking, peeking, down low, shoves Simu up the track. We've got a battle for the lead already. 3 wide for the race lead. Here comes D down to the inside, the very bottom of the track. They are stacked 3 by 3. Let's look at this racing action here. 3 by 3 by 3 for many rows deep. Off of turn 4, who's going to lead the first lap of this season? Looks like D, maybe? Fillian's got something to say about that, though. Coming across the stripe, it is going to be, I think, Fillian across the line. Yes. 78 car takes the lead for the first lap. Keep in mind where these boys started, by the way. Back of the field. Simu's on the very top of the track. Let's get a look at him real quick. There's the number 99 car. From the pole, he has dropped back quite a bit, just outside the top 10 right now. Fillian's kind of holding on. That's pace car. Blocking the very top line, but he's got to look out for the bottom, though. Here comes Melody, as they're still stacked 3 by 3. Off of turn 4. And you're looking to push underneath. The cars are looking like they're pushing up off of the turns, allowing the car behind to make a move. Fillian will lead the next lap here. Still got a lot of the time left, though. 195, almost 200 miles an hour into turn number 1. Henya looking to make a move. And now Henya takes the race lead. With Kobo just sitting right behind her on the inside, second on the inside line. Now moves up to the middle. Anybody gonna make a move down to the bottom? That's the number 26. There goes Bao down to the inside. But not on the complete inside, though. Fifi looking to make a big move. Will not be able to make the pass for third, but trying to hang on for fourth. Bao makes a move for second, though. Here comes the number 26. Does she have a run off of the corner to make a move for the lead? Moves up to the middle. Stays in line, and number 30, Henya, is going to lead this third lap of the race. 100 laps to go here at Daytona. And they're still stacked up 3 by 3 past the top 3. Top 3 are all single file. Everybody else 3 wide behind. Fifi in third. Now Lucky, look at this. Look at this. Look at some of these cars on the inside line. There's Gura, who started in the last, and now up inside the top 10. Possibly working to get inside the top 5. 3 wide for fourth. And then we got a battle here for first as Bao looks to make a move to the inside. Again, this is what Daytona brings. Packed racing, 3 by 3, 2 by 2, all 37 cars right next to each other. Nobody in a disadvantage at the moment. Bao takes the race lead, and they're 3 wide behind her. Agura trying to make a very big statement. No, this is what Daytona is like, as she's going to go for the race lead. And just 5 laps, goes from last to first. And now here comes William as well, and Soleil. Here comes Soleil down to the middle, actually up to the middle, blocks the high side, holds on to third, and we might see... Ooh, I see something going on here. 4 wide. Maybe. Maybe not. No. Nearly 4 wide back there. I don't think that was going to work if that actually was the case. Here comes Soleil down to the inside, looking for second. Cannot make the move. Guro will lead that lap with William following suit in second. And now here comes Risu trying to make a move. Weebu trying to also make a move. That was very well scouted by the 2 car. Technically the 0-2 car, but labeled as the 2 car, so I'm just going to continue saying the 2 car. There's Risu down to the very bottom of the track as Tyroki's also following suit. Still very packed 3 wide here. Into turn number 3. 196, 197 miles an hour is their top speed, I would say. Gura hitting 195 on the exit here. Coming off of turn number 4. Risu on the high side, though. Here comes Tyroki on the inside. Guro will lead this lap again. 7 laps about to be completed here. Let's get another look here, shall we? This one's a wider shot, if you will. Not one that's going to be used very often. You see Fu down in the inside line here in second place. Kyoso in third on the inside line here. Now they're all moving around. Josh in fourth position. Let's get a look here. Third place. Might be a 3-wide battle for third place here, as Lumen's looking at the very bottom of the track, with Gura at the very top. And now Lumen will gain a few spots here. Kason following suit just behind Lumen in the 52, as Fu's trying to get some sort of advantage here to make a move to the front, and he will not. Well, we've been talking a lot about first place. Let's look back all the way at the back, shall we? I might have caught a glimpse of him already. I've missed him. There we go. There's our pole sitter for the day, entering today, coming into this race, sitting almost dead last. I was just making a move for underneath Callie, but sitting dead last after starting up at the very front of the field. I did notice a very big checkup, though. Now the field's kind of split up a little bit. That might be very detrimental to some of those drivers, but it's very early on. I thought that was for the lead. This is for the lead. The top two have kind of broken away a little bit. As we see Fu and Tairoki kind of splitting apart, but here comes Lumen with a whole head of steam. Oh my god. That's what Super Speedway Racing is all about. Oh! Huge block by the 17. 8 laps into the race here. And the field's kind of split up a little bit here. Very much so. Oh, somebody's in the grass. Oh, Kobo with a lot of damage. Kobo with, oh, caution is out. Safety car has been deployed. Maybe not yet, but Bimmel with a lot of damage. Callie with a lot of damage. Fifi with some hood damage. Henya with some rear end damage. What in the world happened back here? Need to go back. Need to go back. Replays are plentiful in this series, thankfully. Oh, Callie was spun around. Oh, something happened back there. Replays are a good thing to have. This looks like... Oh, this looks bad. Okay. Let's see what happens here. I'm assuming that it started up front. Well, up here with Henya, at least. I would say up front, but let's see. Henya with a run off 4. Bibble on the bottom. Bimbo moves low, trying to make a move on David, cannot. Henya just, oh my, Jesus. Oh, it's just stacking up everywhere. Star gets a piece of it. Not much damage, though, for a lot of drivers. I think Malcolm just went for a spin. Let's look at him real quick. I think Malcolm went for a spin. Oh, he didn't even spun out. He just kind of got shoved low. Oh, my God. Okay, maybe not. You got some side damage there, but... that'll buff out, unlike a lot of these other cars, maybe. Look at Callie here on this replay. You do want to, yeah, we were asked the question earlier whether or not accidents were going to happen, and yeah, they are going to happen. Let's look at Callie, very back of the field, sees the wreck, tries to check up, cannot, because the 9 car's right there. Right in front. I mean, just absolutely nowhere to go. Let's get a quick look here. Get an onboard look here of the 9. $198 miles an hour, 190. Oh, it just checks up. Oh, my. And there's just chaos from there. Yeah, that's another thing, too, that you gotta worry about when it comes to this kind of racing. You're gonna get a lot of people checking up, and if that happens, you gotta hope that the car behind understands what you're doing. If that's not the case, then you are not going to have yourself a day here. A very long day, if you will. First wreck of the day happens 9 laps into the race. They're racing back to the line, because once the yellow flag comes out, the safety car is not deployed immediately, but instead they race back to the line, and now we're under caution here at Daytona. We'll sort this out. We'll have a nice little time to catch our breath here. Now, I'm not entirely too certain. Fifi's already down pit road. I know a lot of people are going down pit road if they've already been involved in the wreck. I don't know what the call is for everybody else, though. I don't know if the call is going to be that the people up front, like up for instance the 41 and the 17, if they're going to come down pit road, it is pretty early on in the race. Depending on how long this goes, we might see some green flag pit stops, but if the first 10 laps was an indicator of anything, it might be a very long day here at this track. Not just for me up in the booth, but also down there at the driver's seats, as once you're under caution here, you're going from 190, 180, what we saw, to pace speed, which is only 75 miles an hour. Now, we'll keep an eye on this little line right here, see if anybody darts down pit road to start things off. I'll get rid of that leaderboard there. I'll put it back up when we get sorted out here. Doesn't look like anybody... Well, maybe some people might be going down. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's going down. Still too early in the race to go down pit road and get yourself some tires. I would say get yourself some tires, but at this track, tire wear is not really much of a factor. More of a case of can you make it the rest of the way on fuel. Keep an eye on the pace car here. The lights are on, which means that we are not going back racing. Once the lights are turned off, that's when we get the indicator that we are going back racing. Let's see here. A lot of drivers in the back who were involved in the wreck have pitted. Simu and Nori, the front row here, are sitting respectively 28th and 29th, so that just shows you how Daytona is going to be. Pace lights are still on. Looks like the damage for a lot of these cars actually ain't as bad. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. They're coming out with virtually fresh-looking cars. So they may be fine. All the cars that got involved, especially Kobo, I think if I were to say, I think Kobo might have gotten the worst of it, but I also think the 9 car got... You can make a judgment call here. The 70 looks like they got the worst of it, and they look fine. The 9 car looked like they got the worst of it, and they are also fine. And the lights are on the pace car. So we are going back racing here very quickly. Enough time for them to get back off the pit road and get lined up here, so... We'll quickly resettle here. Let's get back up to the front. The Tyroki in first will lead the way once we get back going here. Fu in second. Lumen in third. Kason in fourth. Kyoso in fifth. Selen in sixth. Gura in seventh. Risu in eighth. William in ninth. Bao is 10th. Outside the top 10, we got Merriweather and Lumi 11th and 12th respectively. Weebu in 13th. DM in 14th. Dreamer in 15th. David in 16th. Sorry. Fruit in 17th. Soleil in 18th, Hano in 19th, and rounding out the top 20 is Sprite. And then the rest of the field on back as they're coming out of turn number 4. A lot of the cars that wrecked are getting back in line here. Kobo will be the last car on track. Pace car is off. We are set to go back racing here. Green flag's back in the air, and Tyroki gets a hell of a jump here. Might be... not a good idea. Usually at tracks such as Texas and Dover, a jump like that would be very good to hear, but not here. And you'll see why here momentarily. Lumen makes a move for second. Still very early on in this race. Anything could happen. A lot can happen here with about 90 or so left to go. Lumen moves up to the middle and has a huge, well, yeah, a huge run here. 3 wide behind, oh, actually behind the leader. Oh, they're checking up big time still. Into turn number 3. A lot of checkup going on here. I wonder if the guys are a little iffy on their cars right now. Lumen going for the lead here. Side by side for the lead. Tyroki leads that lap, but he is being challenged by the number 52 car. Yeah, I'm going to say that a lot of these cars I'm seeing getting really antsy with their cars. Seeing a lot more checkups than I am. Yeah, like they're checking up big time in turn 1 right now. And I'm wondering if their cars are just not handling right after a couple laps of running. At the start of the race, they were running completely like full throttle, no lift at all, really. But now it's just like they're going into the corner and it's like slightly check up. I mean, I've seen a lot of cars kind of just slide up the track on the bottom, especially trying to be aggressive. So if they're being aggressive, that might not be good for their cars. Looking through the field here, there comes... I think 2 packs are starting to form, or split apart, I should say. Tyroki still leads. Kyoso trying to make something happen here in second. Got Kason, though. Third. looking to make a move. Actually, Kyoso's the one that makes the move. They're pretty single filing out right now, which is a nice thing to see after a wreck that just happened not too long ago. Kyoso looking for the lead, maybe? Yes. Shoves the 41 up the track, puts his nose out, gets to the bottom. Side by side for the lead off of turn 4. They will hang on, maybe. Bao's going to be side by side. Kyoso takes the lead for that lap, so they will get that all-important bonus point. We'll go through some of the drivers that led the lap here, because at Daytona, it's going to be a lot of cars. Bao hanging on to the inside line. Trying to hang on to this as much as we can, but I do want to look back at some of the back runners here in a moment. Here comes Lumen.
I have jinxed it when asking about crashes.
Lumen down the middle, looking for second. Well, I talked about it being single file. It really did not last, did it? It really did not last. It was single file for a moment, and then all of a sudden it is stacked up 3x3. Pretty much the entire track is stacked up 3x3. Bao leads that lap. Here comes Lumen. Let me pull that back up. I forgot about that for a second. Lumen looking underneath. Takes the lead away from the 26. That middle line just cannot hold on to that inside line at all, which is not too surprising. It is Daytona. The inside line is always the preferred line at SuperSpeedway racing. There comes the 90 car, Sprite, looking 3 wide for second. They are 4 wide. Gura! Oh, we got a wreck. There goes... Oh, they're stacking up big. Oh, they're stacking up big. That's the big one. Oh, Fillion from out of nowhere. Foo's upside down. Yeah, 4 wide. Yeah, that does not work at this track. It does not work at this track. Caution is out. Lumen leads them back to the line. Good lord. Let's get another look at that. That was pretty well spotted what the cause of that was. Let's get a glimpse of that, shall we? We're gonna look from the 1 car. I mean, 16 laps into a race. I don't know how hard this one is for a lot of drivers. I know the 17 was upside down, but let's get one look here somehow. You see the 1 car goes 4 wide with Watson, Lumi, sorry, and Bao. And that just brings those 2 up. And then Kyoso down the track into a pile of cars. David, Simu, the pole sitter. Tairoki gets a little piece of it. Dreamer gets spun out. Nothing too massive there. There goes Nori. I think the 17 gets the worst out of everybody here. Look at just everybody smashing into each other. And then here comes Fillion from literally out of left field to just pile in. Kind of just hits and then spins out. There goes Fu upside down. Upside down goes a 17 car. Stuck on his roof, by the way. You know, the rest of the field just kind of hanging out on the bottom there with a lot of damage, including the 420 and the 78. 64, surprisingly, looks pretty clean for all that went down. Second caution of the day. I don't want to say a game ender for everybody that was involved in there, but maybe the 17. That might be the only one that might get the worst out of that, because he is upside down. Everybody else, I mean, we just saw with the, I mean, look, let's look at this for instance. The 24 car Star was involved in the first wreck and got a lot of damage out of it. Not a whole lot. I mean, the same with Fifi could be said as well. But they're both back up here in the top 5, respectively. So, I wouldn't count out everybody that got involved in that. I don't know about the 17 car. There's the 11. 17's up here road. So, it's the 26, 36, 84, and the 99. Dreamer's running around. A lot of damage, but maybe enough to still be a factor late in the race. Depends on if the trend of crashes continues here. We're 2 cautions into the race, and we're only 16 laps of the way through a 103 lap scheduled event. So, Daytona likes to produce some wacky racing, right? Again, don't know about that call going 4 wide from Gura. Not a very necessary move. Now, The first wreck was completely justifiable. Looked like the 9 was trying to make a move, and Henya was just trying to follow them, and then all of a sudden, they're just... The closing rate was too much, and that's what caused that first wreck. The second wreck, Gura could easily have just stayed in line, and a lot of people's races wouldn't have been affected here. The 17 car looks surprisingly good enough to come back out, so if the 17 car is not leaving the race, then that means everybody has a fighting chance here at this point. I think Fu is going to be 1 lap down, however. Several cars 1 lap down. I do not know how this is going to play out here, because normally we would get the lucky dog in the wave arounds and stuff like that. For those unaware of how that works, pretty much if a caution comes out, then whoever is first 1 lap, who's the first car not on the lead lap, they'll get the lucky dog for the most part. Sometimes maybe more than one. I don't control it. Sometimes I wish I could, but yeah. If the wave around situation is if there's any lap cars, technically they wouldn't be lap cars, it'd be tail end. But anybody, like, let's say for instance Lumen was a lap down, or at least on the tail end of a lap down, and Sprite was the leader, then the 52 would get waved around so that the leader could be the first car behind the pace car to control it. 2 cautions in to an event that's only got 18 laps completed. It looks like everybody's completely fine. Dreamer still have some rear end damage, and so does Fu. Yeah, Fu and Dreamer both have severe rear end damage. Probably not a huge factor. Oh, a lot of cars. Oh, everybody's going into the pits. A late call here, but everybody's going into the pits. All right. Let's get some pit stops going on, shall we? Here comes everybody. Nobody came down the first time, so I expected nobody was going to pit, but here they all come. I really cannot tell you what's going to happen in the thing, so I'm just going to leave it on the pace car, and we'll settle it once everybody comes out, because, yeah, you think commentating a fucking SuperSpeedway race is already a mind-boggle mess, then, yeah, try commentating a pit stop, a full field pit stop, by the way, so we'll hang on to the pace car here for a second, as we'll wait to see what the outcome of that is. Looks like we have a surprise coming up our way. There's Fillion, who I don't think pitted. I think stayed out. Or at the very least, okay, there's a massive shakeup here. So, we'll recap everything, because I'm pretty sure Fillion's going to be the leader. Watson's going to be second, and Callie's going to be third, DM fourth, and Lumen fifth. That's what I think is going to be the case here. We'll see when they cross the line. A quick shout out to both Fluffy and Mama for stopping by and saying hello in chat. Hope everybody's having a good morning or a good afternoon. The big shakeup here. Lumen, who went into the pits first, is now sitting in 5th place. Look at the back here. There's Kairoki going back. Looks like the rear end for the 89, and I believe the 17. Where's the 17? Can I get a look here from Kayson's on board? Looks like they did fix up the rear ends of the 17 and the 89, so we're good there. We should be 1 to go. Yes, we are. So, it's way better than normal racing, to be honest. Yeah, I kind of figured so. So, here we go. Got a couple cars coming on the inside. They might actually be wave arounds, actually, because they were involved in the wreck, and they didn't officially go a lap down. That's, or at least they're on the inside for some reason. Are they waving around? Oh, they might just be, oh no, double fall. Ah! We get everything ready for a road trip, doing good. Oh, nice, nice. Double file restarts here. Normally it's single file, but in this case we got lappers on the inside. Got the lap down cars on the inside. Keep in mind that the cars that are starting on the inside, so the 11, the 17, the 36, the 84, 84, that Fruit's number? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Yeah, 84, 26, and the 99 are pole sitter. They are not going to be competing for the lead. Rather, they're going to compete to get their laps back, which is a lot more important than you think, especially how today's race has been, with the fact that we have had 2 cautions in a span of 20, no more than that, laps. So with that out of the way, if you could stay out front when the caution comes out, not only will you get the lucky, well, you'll get your lap back in a very traditional way. You'll set yourself up and you'll get away from the accident that is going to happen behind you, essentially. And you'll have a second chance at life. So, 20 laps into a run. Let's maybe see if we can get a green flag run here. Because we have not had a long run so far today. Like I said, 2 cautions, 15 laps. Been a very slow race. Fillion's going to lead the pack back to the green flag. 20 laps have been completed. And keep in mind, when you look at this race leaderboard on the top left, you see that -1. They're a lap down. For those that don't know how racing works. Side by side for the race lead. The lappers are going to have the advantage here, despite maybe having some damage. And everybody's really single file on the inside line, leaving these boys up at the top line kind of screwed. But the 78's finally getting going here. We've been trying to just squeeze up the track and make something happen here. But second place is Watson. She's up top 3 wide. Third place would be Callie. I mean, when you get lappers involved with the leaders, it is confusing as to who is where in what position. At the moment, the 78's going to hold strong here for the lead, as everybody that's a lap down is just kind of going to go by on the inside line for now. They're going to battle amongst themselves. Billion's going to try and shove Weebu back a lap down. Because at the same time, here comes Kobo, who is on the lead lap, trying to take the lead away. A little bit of help from the 24 car here. Simu trying to make a move here. We're going to try to keep an eye on the front runnings here. Beefy taking it 3 wide. That involves the race leader with the 70 car. Beefy will take the lead. Is that... Yeah, okay. Number 85 is on the lead lap, so here comes Nana looking for the race lead here. It's just stacked 3x3. Just really aggressive racing here. Fifi's going to lead this lap. I was hoping we were going to get a long green flag run in, but with how everybody's racing right now, there's no way this is going to last. Sprite's the 3rd car on the inside line here. Lucky is on the lead lap, sitting 2nd at the moment. Beefy's hanging on to the race lead, though. Not the first time she's been in the lead. Today, at least. Or at least she's been battling up front all day. Here comes Hano, though, who has not been up front at all. David just right behind them. 3 wide behind the leader. Get 190 miles an hour normally. I would say normally, but they're kind of slowing down a little bit. I mean, they just pitted, so I don't know what the deal is, to be honest. Oh my god, Merriweather on the apron almost. That could have been disaster. They're hanging on. Merriweather up to 4th from 10th the last time they clocked that in. They'll clock in that position thing up at the top right when they cross that line. So, normally, it's a nice tool to have on a 1.5-mile track, because that's normally where they're going to be running at consistently for a while. SuperSpeedways, though, you're seeing a lot of cars going from the very back to the very front. And so it is hard for me to tell whether or not a driver is sitting in 10th place. I mean, like, let's look at, look at Nori, for instance. Here she comes. She's last clocked in at 9th place. Foo's cutting down into the pits. Bold strategy. We'll see if that works out for him. Fifi hangs onto the lead. Kind of getting stretched out a little bit. I mean, after Fu went down into the pits, I am not too shocked, to be honest. I mean, let's look at the very back of the field here. We got Lumen, who restarted up at the top 5, all the way back in what I can safely say is last place. Again, not a bad strategy. I mean, a lot of drivers do that strategy because, again, if this is a caution-filled race, as we see number 22 at Iron Mouse going for the race lead for the first time today, if this continues to be a wreck fest like it has been, you want to be in the back because you'll be able to withstand a lot of the punishment, as looks like Kobo is going to be the next car to enter the pits. I don't know why they're going into the pits, to be honest. I don't know why. There's several cars going down into... Well, there's only a few, but we'll keep an eye on that, as well as the race lead. As here comes Star to the lead, entering turn 1. Now, just because they're out in front for the race lead, they're not going to get that bonus point until they cross that line in the race lead. So Star right now is in the lead, but she has to hang on for another turn to get that all-important bonus point that will come into effect later in the season. Especially when you got points that are determined by literally 1 or 2 points. For those that weren't aware of this championship situation, all points are based off of the leader getting 43 points, and then it goes down pretty much 1 through the rest of the way. But you get 3 bonus points for winning the race. We also get 1 point for leading a lap and an extra for leading the most amount of laps. As we see the number 24 get that said bonus point. Leading the most laps at Daytona's got to feel like winning the championship already, because you got to be dominant in order to get that bonus point. And I can't really tell who's going to be very dominant, as we see Sprite going for the race lead now that the 24's got that bonus point. And don't look now, but here comes Dreamer, who was involved in that last accident and was able to keep that lead lap, so he's going to be looking for the race lead here shortly soon. As we see another car dip down into the pits, and that's Fruit. I've noticed that all 3 of the cars that have pitted so far have all been cars that are a lap down. So, nobody on the lead lap pitting at the moment. Cars are slowing down tremendously. I just now saw that. That was probably the slowest lap that we have seen out of everybody. Dreamer holds out in front, though, as they're training back here. Not really training, but they're getting back formed up. With the exception of the 12, who's lost the draft. I think the 52 maybe as well, but again, might be a strategy call by all those involved. Kyoso looking for the race lead now. As you see Dreamer just shoved to the middle line here. It's going to lose a lot of spots, actually. The middle line is just not the preferred line here at this track, but people want to keep... people are getting shoved up there left, right, and center. It is an aggressive race. It is an aggressive race, but still, only 28 laps in the books. So far, the fastest lap, the one that set a blazer of a lap, so far goes to Fifi. The 44-second lap time. Not really something we're going to look at, because it's not really much of a factor. Jesus! Where did that 12 car come from? Let's talk about how he lost the draft, and he's just like, okay, never mind. Just hit the gas pedal, I guess. Into turn number 4. Again, pretty slow field right now. I don't get it. I've heard about conservative racing before, but we've gone from 190 miles an hour to 140 out of turn 4, so I guess they just want to take it nice and slow, I guess, which is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, just a little surprising, if you will. They're kind of getting back going here. I think Callie led that last lap. Yeah, that is correct. Callie led that lap. And keep in mind, too, I'll mention this real quick. When you look at this race leaderboard, top 10 is only separated by 0.5 of a second, which, you know, is a lot. You know, that's a lot of cars right next to each other. See William trying to go for the race lead here. Got Malcolm shoving. They got Weebu shoving as well. They're finally getting that gas pedal going again. I think some of them are starting to get a bit more aggressive, because I know that they don't want to continue to wreck and pile up these cars, because we've had 2 cautions and all of them so far no DNFs. You don't want to be the first. You don't want to be the first car to be in last place. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Malcolm holds on to the race lead there. Weebu's gonna make a move, but not for the race lead, but to, you know, hang on to the lead lap here. So Weebu will be on the tail end of the lead lap there. Gura is now the race leader, though, for the moment being. Soleil on the lead lap's going to shoot down to the apron. Try to make a pass here. Are they going to be 4 wide for the lead? Okay, I thought for certain they were going to be 4 wide for the lead, but they kind of hang on. And they're keeping it kind of nice here. Soleil hangs on for the race lead for the moment. It looks like Nana's going to try and move to the inside, just kind of be there, I guess. Soleil's going to lead this lap. I don't think Soleil has led a lap today, so that is a bonus point. I want to say so. So there's a lead. There's a lap led for the 420 car, the only triple-digit number in the field. There goes Nana back up front, though. Soleil is going to go from leading a lap all the way outside the top 10. So that's how much a lap will make in terms of difference-wise here. Lumen hanging on. He's back up front on another car that I've said a lot already today. 30 laps into the race. I've said a lot about him already. He's been up front for a lot of this race already, so not too shabby of the 52 car here. As we see that they're still packed up 3x3. I think every car, with the exception of 3 cars. So 34 cars in this pack. Not bad for a race that's been going on for quite some time. Lumen hangs on to the race lead on the inside. Soleil just kind of stretching it onto that high side here. Let's peek here, I guess. Or I guess we'll get a good peek at the field as a whole. Keeping an eye on Soleil. They're 3 wide for the race lead. Sprite looking on the bottom. There's just stack 3x3. I mean, there's not much to it. Oh, they're 4 wide. This is not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Here we go again, boys. Oh, my Jesus. Up and over not only the turn 4 wall, but also over Tom Merriweather goes Malcolm. I hope they have more than just car insurance, because that looked bad. And, by the way, the caution's out for the 3rd time today. Who else got involved in this? Because I saw 4 wide, and I was not thinking that was going to work. Again, Daytona's not the track that 4 wide works. Slow motion here. Billion squeezes. Oh, I can't pause it that way. I was gonna say I wanted to pause it here, but let's look here real quick at what we got. Let's just look at the situation right here. So we got 4 wide here. Fillion taking it 4 wide with Merriweather right next to her to the left. To the right, make a judgment call here whether or not you want to say William or Solen. One of the two. I want to say Solen, but it's in between those two. And then you got Star all the way at the very bottom of the track. The very bottom, like as very bottom as you could go without actually hitting the apron. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what started it. The slow motion look here. I want to say it looks like Merriweather pinches too low up the track into the 78, and that's where all hell breaks loose. 24 gets away scot-free. Star was able to hold on just fine, but got Kason, Melody, Solen, William. Malcolm's over top, and I mean over top, like on top of Merriweather, which is quite a sight to behold. That's not what a car is supposed to do. Now, surprisingly, after all of that, everybody drove away scot-free. I mean, at least the 60 and the 69, they got away. 78, not so much. Not so much. The caution is out, but of course they still have to race back to the line because they didn't call it. In fact, have they called it at all? Come on, race control. What the hell are you doing? Are they letting them race it, I guess? Are they letting them race? Oh no, the caution's out now. Okay. Never mind. See, if you look near the top of the track, you can see the flashing yellow lights. That does indicate caution. And they didn't call it for a while. That's what I base it off of. So, caution is out. But they're still racing back to the line, I guess. Who's going to lead it back to the line? Looks like Dreamer's going to lead them back to the line. So, Dreamer's going to lead another lap. Right? Yes. Okay. After it all updated. That's a 69. The 10 looks like they're fine. I don't know where the 60 is. The 60 is on pit road, so is the 78. Well, Just when you think that just when you think that we just finally got a little bit of a breather to make something happen with the race, and get a green flag run going, all that happens. Probably the most interesting wreck out of the 3 that we've had so far. Now, Daytona's not the only superspeedway we're going to be going to. Talladega is another one that we're going to be going to, as I think... Yeah, there goes the 11. There goes Weeboo. I'll make this point real quick. Weeboo, first car 1 lap down, they will be back on the lead lap. So they will be back in contention for the race lead. Shortly, soon, probably. I don't know. I don't know. They have a chance, though. If they're up front, they're battling for the lead. Anyways, Daytona's not the only superspeedway track we're going to be going to. I mean, technically, you can make a judgment call for a lot of tracks being superspeedways. But the other one that I'm talking about more so, as we see everybody, with the exception, I don't know. We'll see who pits and who stays out. Again, another pit stop sequence with a lot of cars going in. I don't really... I'll keep an eye on it with this camera. We got some cameras to have the pits, but we'll cover it all here. Anyways, Daytona's not the only track we'll go to that's like this. Talladega is another one that we'll go to that is, I want to say, the 8th race or the 7th race of the season. Can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Talladega is a much wider track. Talladega can fit 4 wide. Talladega can fit 4 wide. Daytona cannot. Salt David was the first one off the pit road from that sequence, and Dreamer, who came in first, is going to lose a ton of spots. Well, maybe not a super ton of spots, but a ton of spots. There's a lot of cars that stayed out, but I think a lot of these cars are a lap down. We'll look here. Bao is a lap down. Iron Mouse is the only one that stayed out that is not a lap down, so she is the leader. Timu's a lap down. Fu's a lap down. Kobo stayed out on the lead lap. Melody's a lap down. Merryweather's a lap down. Fruit's a lap down. William? I think everybody from William... No, William, Malcolm are another 2 that I believe... I think Malcolm kept his... kept the lead lap out of all that. I think, for the most part. I know Fillion's also a lap down as well. From what I can gather at the moment, Bao might be the... I don't know, is Bao... No, Bao's a lap down, right? Tail end, technically, so she will get the wave around here once we get one to go. In fact, I think... Oh, wait. Oh, no, they're pitting. Well, what? Alright. Well, number 26 is pitting. Alright. So be it, I guess. Any way that the leader can stay the first car behind the pace car. Well, there you go. Alright. Yeah, Talladega is a very big track. One of the biggest tracks we will go to in terms of its sheer size. So we will see that track later on in the schedule, and that race will be, I would say, much more intense. Just by the sheer fact that, you know, 4Y doesn't work at this track. We've seen it twice already. But it will work at Dega. I mean, it'll be close, depending on how aggressive they want to be, and if they want to pinch. If they pinch and if the drivers start to pinch each other down the track, which is what we saw with Merryweather and Star, that's how that whole wreck started. If they do that at Dega, that's not going to work. And, you know, it'll be the biggest track will be the biggest graveyard we'll go to, but... In any case, Iron Mouse is the leader here with 37 laps about to be in the books when they cross the line. Let's see here. Kobo is in second. Then you got to go back a couple cars till you find William and Malcolm. Malcolm was the one that got up into the catch fence. It drove away, went into the pits, and somehow sits 4th. I don't know. I don't know how to say. I don't know how to really talk about that. I'm pretty certain he went to the pits. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't after a crash like that. I don't see any damage to the car, so or at least not anything in particularly bad. So, all right. I'd keep an eye on him, though, if anything, because if he's fully recovered, or if the car's even halfly remotely good, then great, I guess. You know, he'll be up front here on this restart. See the lap cars coming into the inside line here. Now, I'm pretty certain that that whole lap car to the inside thing's not going to be a normal thing this whole season. I think it's only happening today because it's Daytona, and usually you can't get that. You got to get any chance you can get at your lap back here. So, I think there might be 6 cars on the inside. Let's see here. We got Merryweather on the inside, Fruit on the inside, Fillion on the inside, Bow on the inside, Simu on the inside, and Melody all on the inside line. 1 lap down at the very least. I don't think... No, nobody is sitting 2 laps down. In fact, there's more cars a lap down, and I don't see Foo anywhere. Oh, here he comes. Alright, so Foo's going to join up. I think he went to the pits and is now just rejoining. Okay. There's that. Fastest lap still goes to the 53 car. Star is sitting second with the fastest lap, just not too far behind. But then again, you look at the whole chart and you realize, let's see, first place, fastest lap wise, has a 44.1. Last place, which is Fillion, has a 45.2. So about a second difference, but it takes you till 30. It takes you 32 cars to find a car that did not set a 44-second lap time as their fastest lap. So that's how tight everybody is in terms of speed. They're bunched up. Nobody's really a dominant car. That's what Daytona's all about. Right place, right time. That's how it is. That's how it always will be here at this track. 38 laps about to be completed here on this restart. Iron Mouse will lead them back. Green flag. What a jump by the outside line. That inside line is screwed. I'm not too surprised, as, you know, yeah. Alright, top 4, which consist of Iron Mouse, William, Kobo, and Malcolm Bell, somehow, have not checked out at all. I was about to say they checked out. They are checked back in with the other group. Malcolm's going to go for the race lead, and what a fucking storyline that is when you think about what transponded not 5 minutes ago. William has the lead. Malcolm is now going to take it. And Robin with a raid of the century there. Hello, Robin. David looking for the lead here. I think David's the one that took it. No, Malcolm led that lap.
It's _Estella on Twitch is now following. Thank you.
How the hell is Merryweather fast? Oh, we are flying now. Last time we were running 150. Now we're running a bit more than that. Oh my god. Flying. 220 miles an hour into turn 4. I think we're going to see some fast laps being obliterated right now. Just saying. What in the world? What is happening here? Caution out? No. We've got some cars that are just slowing down. And a group of cars. Alright. Well, to say the least, welcome to Daytona. We have split the pack. Very, very weird circumstance right there, but alright. I have no idea. Okay, well, let's get to what we know right now. We got the top 3 separated from everybody else. Merryweather is leading this pack, but he is not on the lead lap. He is 31st, 1 lap down. Not technically 1 lap down, but battling to stay on the lead lap, essentially. Got David, William, and Malcolm, the top 3. And you got to go back a little bit of ways to find 4th place Dreamer, surrounded by a ton of lap cars. Jesus. There's Nana up in the 5th spot. Kobo's 6th. Then you got a 4-car pack here with Star, Melody, Lumi, and Tyroki. We got a lot of cars running different speeds here. But the front 3 have kind of just tailing each other. Single file, just kind of holding on to how things are going right now. Alright. Well, I think if any point in time we're going to get a green flag run in, this is the green flag run. I mean, everybody's kind of just separated by a ton of time here. I mean, remember when I said that the top 10 was separated by like 0.5 of a second? Make that 15 seconds, according to the leaderboard up at the top left. The top 3 have spread themselves out, with Merriweather joining in. Just because. If a caution were to come on right now, that'd be so much in Merriweather's favor. In fact, there's a lot of dust. I don't know what that dust is for, but no caution. Well, if we stay green, we stay green. We're going. There's more dust in turn 1, but if we're staying green, we're staying green. We're racing, and we're flying. And there's a pack of lapped cars here. The only one that is on the lead lap out of this pack is Nana, sitting in 4th place. Right now, what we got so far is, again, the top 3 just by themselves. Kind of just, they're not even being aggressive. Okay, I say that. There goes Malcolm for 2nd. All right. Way to time that move, I guess. But anyways, top 3 have just kind of separated themselves from everybody else, literally. The second pack is full of lap cars that are just hanging about. You gotta go back till, like, not even before the line to find even a resemblance of lead lap cars. Stars in 7th, Overdrive in 8th, Kyoso in 9th, Iron Mouse 10th, Watson 11th, Tyroki 12th, Soleil 13th. A lot of single file racing through the back. You got to go all the way back to pass the top 20 to find even a remotely side-by-side battle. There's Sprite, who is very slow for some reason. If I had to guess, I think Sprite got involved into something. And is now fighting to stay on the lead lap. And with that, Malcolm's able to take the lead out of this pack here. I have no idea what's wrong with the 90 car. I'm assuming, if I had to put 2 and 2 together, I'm guessing that whatever was going on the front stretch, with all that dust and dirt, I think it had to do something with the 90 car. But again, no caution. Well, yeah, no caution. So, alright, well. As we stand right now instead of the top 3, it is now Malcolm and William just kind of by themselves, for the most part. Malcolm will lead this lap. 47 laps in the books. Let's go back through the field, I guess. And some 3-wide back here. We got a lot of cars back here packed up again. So, I guess we got pack racing still going on. And they're catching this 4-pack right here with Kobo, Overdrive, Kyoso, and Star. And Dreamer's kind of falling back to them right now, which might actually be a good idea, as if they could catch up to this pack, they'll catch up to this pack. The more cars you get into a group, the better your chances are of catching. I mean, look at this. We got 4 cars right here tangling it up. Even though they're being really formal with each other, they're not making moves, they're not being aggressive, they're just kind of hanging about, just running their line. This pack right here of nothing but lap cars, with the exception of Nana. They're catching them still. They're catching them. Sprite's kind of holding them back a little bit, though. I really couldn't tell you what's wrong with the 90 car, but there is a problem with the 90 car. Then back here, we got this 4-pack, kind of the same situation as the front 4. But these 4 just running kind of formally, and they're being caught by another 4-pack. Who are running pretty formally. And then you got this pack right here. Like, they're kind of splitting up. There's packs that are splitting, packs that are forming. And then you got this front pack right here, which is doing better than everybody else, I guess. I mean, the top 4 are separated by I mean, top 3 are separated by 0.2 of a second, whereas everybody else is separated by at least a second or more. As now we see William making a charge for the lead, which might actually kind of hurt this group, not going to lie, because now that just happened, here comes the, I don't want to say the lead pack, but instead a pack of lappers. Nana's going to join the picture, though, to make a charge here for the lead, so I guess a positive takeaway for anybody in that is Nana, because now she will be able to battle for the lead, and I don't think has a lap led already in this race. I mean, the top 3 have already led laps. We're seeing that right now. There goes Williams led that lap. We saw Malcolm lead a lap, and David led a ton of laps already. So we know that the top 3 have led laps. I don't think Nana in the 85 has. So if that is the case, then yeah, we will see another lead lap, or another car that's going to lead a lap, I guess. But the main thing about this pack is the fact that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars out of a pack of 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, like more than half of the cars in this pack are not battling for the lead. They're battling to stay on the lead lap. And whoever is the lucky one to stay out in front or be the first one. Oh, wow. I don't know what the hell that was. Malcolm and Merriweather just both got shunted at the same exact time. We're just going to mainly keep an eye on this front pack here, because it's not really a whole, like, that's why I got the whole leaderboard on the top left, to kind of just show where everybody's at. I mean, again, it is quite impressive how the front 3, front 4 now have kind of pulled out to a about 30-second gap between everybody, I guess. Williams pulling away from everybody else behind him. I mean, not literally, because there's several cars right behind him, nose to tail. But in terms of cars who are, who could make a statement with getting a position change, in terms of up front, William doesn't have anything to worry about. Nana's 2 cars, maybe 3 cars, no, 2 cars back. Then you got Malcolm, who's right there, but the worst out of the offenders is David, who's all the way back near the tail end of the pack. But Williams all by himself, and he's just kind of riding. And I mean, that's probably what you can only do at this situation. Outside of the top 10, I mean, well, actually, I could look at outside the top 10 here real quick. I don't think I'm going to miss a lead change. I don't like missing those, but yeah, here's this 4-pack here. Kobo, DJ, Kyoso, and now Nori. And then there's another 4-pack with Lumi, Bimble, Star, and then Soleil. And they're all just kind of riding around, just having a ball. Then you have a couple cars who are single file. Here's the biggest pack, I do believe. Full of names. There's Iron Mouse, who's fallen out of that pack. Iron Mouse, who restarted up front. This is what happens when you lose the pack. Is now on the verge of being a lap down and adding another car to this pack. Oh my god. Because she is by herself, that just shows the difference between having a pack and being by yourself. And because of that, Williams also going to lose the lead, as the top 4 are side by side with each other. Out of all that, Fruit just kind of pulled away by herself, away from the pack. So you take one out and you put one back in, I guess. David takes the lead, being absolutely shoved by the 85 on the inside line. Who is on the lead lap, so Nana trying to battle for the race lead. Will not get it this time, but stays nose to tail with David here, as he will lead another lap. As the pack kind of separates from each other. We got these 4 right here with Fu now coming into the picture. Malcolm's trying to get the speed to come back up. By the way, we are right at the halfway point of this race. We are right at the halfway point. So we're halfway through this race, and I don't want to count out anything right now, We still have pit stops, maybe. I don't want to say green flag pit stops, but at the very least, we still have a pit stop left. Maybe 2. And there's always a chance for a stray yellow to just appear out of nowhere and bunch the whole field right back up, which would be interesting to say the least, especially now that we've seen... I think with all the packs and all the issues that this pack has had for the last couple of laps... Well, I was going to say that the pack is kind of formed back up and the pack behind is formed back up and closing. Like this pack right here is what I'm talking about. But they're kind of just back to where they were beforehand. Fruit's out there running by herself, just kind of hanging about. We got a single car train right now up front. Again, not the worst. I mean, again, we've seen how many wrecks already? 3 wrecks in a span of 30 laps. It's our longest green flag run of the day so far. And everybody's looking to be pretty formaled up right now with this first pack, at least. I mean, look at this. We were seeing 3x3 action, and everybody's just kind of like joshing for position. Now it's like, you get somebody making a move. But I mean, look at how tangled up they are, but not in a bad way. They are formed up, man. They are formed up. For the most part. Because it feels like if you make a move, you're going to kind of get separated and you're kind of have to just kind of hang about for a little bit just to try and... Because, like, I mean, look at this. Now the top 3 in this pack have kind of separated themselves. Not by much, but a little bit of a gap here between... Well, now it was a gap, and now it's not really a gap anymore. So you can kind of catch up still. Billions lost the draft here out of that, which is, I would say, a bad thing, but here comes this pack. A more piled up pack, if you will, of cars. Which doesn't consist all of lead lap cars, but it would add a ton of power and names, I guess, to the front of the field. But they are 15 seconds behind this pack right here, so... The top 2 have kind of separated by at least a car length. Nana, surprisingly, not being aggressive here for somebody that has not led a lap in this race at all. Looking at the back half of the field here, Melody sitting last. With Iron Mouse, Sprite, Fillion, Foo. The bottom 5, if you will. I got this camera going here. I said I didn't really want to use it, but this kind of shows, especially in this corner, how close the battle is. Now Simu's making a move. Now, Simu making a move is not for second. Nana will stay in second regardless of what happens in this battle, unless she gets passed by the 10 or the 69. Yeah, this is what the main pack is like right now. They're kind of doubling back up. I said that they were very formal for a moment. Then that moment has passed. You get to see what kind of a run the high side's going to get, which is actually pretty... That's a pretty good run. I think that might be the best run I've seen the outside line have all day. Got Malcolm trying to go for third here in the background underneath Merriweather and William, who's on the very top. They're kind of like, I want to say like bowling pins. Like, you got one who's just kind of out front, then you got 2 behind, and then you got 3 behind that. As soon as I say that, though, here comes Malcolm making a move for second, 3 wide. Keep in mind that there's only 4 cars battling for first place right now out of this pack, even though it looks like there's a lot. But it's only the 77, the 69, the 85, and the 10, all of them battling for first place. Everybody else is not really in contention at the moment. Because they are 1 lap down right now. The 26 is a lap down. The 99, the 17, the 60. This pack was like 10 cars at one point before it kind of got spaced out a little bit more. Now it's kind of gone down to, I think, 8 or 9. I can't really tell. The pack behind's kind of catching them. I don't want to say that, though, because it's not enough at the moment. Again, it is going to depend on green flag pit stops, though. I mean, if we do have green flag pit stops, it is going to be interesting to see what happens in that situation. I feel like the pack will be more spread out, if anything. So I think the pack that's fifth on back is trying to get back up as quickly as they can because they know that they're going to get spread. They're going to get spread out. As we see, Fu and Merriweather have, I guess, lost this draft, as it's now a 6-car tango with the top 4 on the lead lap. Well, I did say that it is going to be hard for a car to be the most dominant car in a superspeedway race, but I think I ate my words here. I think the 77 may have may be in contending ship for that said dominant car of the race, and we get that extra bonus point. I mean, I don't want to jinx him, but he's led a huge chunk of this green flag green flag run here. As it looks like the top 4 are now the top 4 in this pack. Well, I say that as Malcolm's probably going to lose, I don't want to say a position, but he's going to lose some track position to the 26 and the 77. Or, sorry, the 17, not the 77. But speaking of that, by the way, William now takes the lead and has a convoy right behind him with the 26 and the 17, who aren't on the lead lap. You can kind of see that pack right in the background of this shot. They're kind of catching, actually. They are kind of catching. They've brought it down to 5 seconds, 5.5. They've kind of broken away, actually, from like the 24 and the 9 that's showing up on the leaderboard. They've kind of broken away from them. You never know who's going to come and go here. I do see some cars on pit road. I don't think that's pit stops, actually, but I do know that I just saw some cars on coming out of the pits. And that group has caught this pack. Got Tyroki in 5th. A bunch of lap cars. Philly and Sprite. Weeboo up in the top 10 after being the lucky dog. There's Soleil, and then there's Dreamer. They got Kason and Kobo who have exited the pits. And this is the 5-pack here with Star, Cali, Overdrive, Kyoso, and then there's Bimble. And then you gotta go a ways to find anybody else, any resemblance of life. But we got another pack. We got more cars here formed up, so it's no longer the top 4 that are in this pack. It's now the top 8. Or at least, I would say, maybe so. Nana takes the race lead, as Bao and Fu look to be pulling away here. Look at the run these fucking cars got. They fucking made a statement here. There's Tyroki gaining some spots here with Philly in pursuit. Fu just lost a ton of spots right there. Good lord. I don't even think they were ready for that. I mean, I sure as hell wasn't. Tyroki went from being 15 seconds back to just all of a sudden in 3rd. I mean, I guess this pack was just being way too conservative. You had a 15-second gap. Why else would you want to push, right? Like, that's that. I mean, I get it, but like they pushed a little too low, and now all of a sudden they got more cars to deal with. Nana's in the race lead. Malcolm 2nd. Tyroki in 3rd. Gotta go back a couple cars. Find David. I think got a couple cars actually pitting this time. And by a couple, looks like Malcolm. And that's it. Out of this front pack. Out of that front pack, Malcolm takes himself to the pits. So we will have some green flag pit stops. The first time we're seeing that today. And probably the last time, because they should make it on fuel the rest of the way. Less than 40 to go. We're on lap 68 out of 103. Yeah, this is definitely going to be the... Like, not a lot of cars have pitted. Or, I mean, I'm sorry. These cars have not pitted really that much. Last time it pitted was that last caution. Back at lap 33. See William trying to go 3 wide for the race lead. Here comes Soleil up in the front. In the picture, at least. Sitting 4th now. And again, this pack is full of cars that aren't on the lead lap. So you got to keep an eye on who is and who isn't. Fu is not on the lead lap, but Weeboo is. At one point, they were not on the lead lap, but getting that lucky dog after, I think, was the third caution of the day? Second or third, I can't remember. Last caution, maybe. They're back up front. That's what the lucky dog can do for you, man. You can get right back up front in no time. I mean, we see a lot of cars here in this pack, and I'm pretty certain, there's Malcolm, yeah, so most of them, I believe, are just cars that have pitted, and they're going to be in this pack, which is, you think it's already going to be chaotic enough with what we got right now. Let's add 4 more cars to the mix. Why not, right? Weeboo in second, William hangs on to first. Merriweather sitting third in this pack, but again, laps down. Same with Foo. Nana is the only other car that's in this pack that's on the lead lap at the moment. That's, like, in contention for the race lead. And by that, I mean, well, they're kind of starting to pull away a little bit. They're catching this pack right here, and it's a ginormous pack, and it includes Malcolm as well. I think a lot of cars who have pitted or have had a lot of bad luck with this green flag run. It is a massive checkup, too. But the one who takes advantage out of that the most is going to be the number 11 car. At least for the moment being. The one who gets the worst out of that is the 10. They'll go from first to, I believe, just outside the top 5. And Weeboo comes from being a lap down to now leading the race. And is completely desecrating a lot of cars right in front of her. Sending a lot of cars a lap down. I mean, look at this. We now are sitting with, I want to say, 21 cars on the lead lap. A couple cars on the tail end, but about 21, 22 cars on the lead lap. Just a rough guess. I can't really be for sure. There goes Nana looking for the race lead. They're getting packed back up in a way that is not typical. At least what was typical at this racetrack. 71 laps going to be completed in the books here with, I think, Nana being the one to take the point here. Yes, as we see William dip out of the pack. That is a dangerous move by the 10 car being by himself. And what appears to now be a pack of 15? 15 to 20 cars. No, not 20. That's way too much. But at least 15 cars. And now, speaking of cars, let's look at the race lead. And now Soleil's up to the race lead. But Bao being the only car, well, the car in front of them being tail end on the lead lap, technically. Not a lot of cars pitting this time by. From, I want to say overall, we're now down to 5 cars on the lead lap, or at least not on the lead lap. The 5 cars, top 5 in this pack. There goes Fillion down into the pits. Nothing out of that 5 here. Let's see. What do we got? So Malcolm's a lap down because he pitted. There's Weeboo. There's Tyroki. Yeah, there's only 5 cars. The top 5 are just in this pack, surrounded by a load, and I mean a load of cars that have pitted or have been tail end on the lead lap for quite some time. Now 1 and 2 is Soleil in front, David in second, Tyroki third, being pushed by the 11 who got shoved up the track by Lucky, and the 6 who is not on the lead lap. Well, pit stops are kind of underway, but we're seeing cars slowly chip in. Not a whole lot per lap, though. Tyroki this time goes in from third, so now we're down to 4 cars. Oh my god. Speaking of cars who were on the lead lap, there's William. He's back in the main pack, but not in the way that he was at first. He's now battling to stay on the lead lap. Once the top 5, or I guess at this point, once the top 4 pit, then it's all kind of game on from everybody else. I don't know what the pack's going to be like after this. The green flag pit stops at a SuperSpeedway is something else, I'll tell you that much. 74 laps will be in the book once we get across the line this time. Looks like a couple cars here. The 11 and the 420 are down pit road, which leaves only the 85 and the 77 in this pack battling for the race lead. And at the moment, Nana's pulling away from the 77. Everybody else that was battling for the lead in this pack are now in the pits, which we'll kind of get a nice little look at here. We see some cars coming out here. just a quick look at what's going on in the pits. I mean, I haven't been able to really look at what the whole field is like. I mean, it's hard to really go through the whole field because of how big this track is. It looks like the last 2 remaining cars in the top 2 have entered the pits. We'll keep an eye on this 85 for the most part, because I want to see where Nana's going to come out at. She's going to come in as the leader, or at least, yeah, she's going to come in as the leader. But where is she going to come out at? Like, that's the main question. We're going to keep an eye on both the 85 and the 77. I don't know if there's contact on pit road. It's really not much of a big deal if there is. I mean, this is how pit stops work. I mean, you look at the leaderboard, you see the 85 out ahead by a second over David, and then you got like a massive gap. I think the 85 comes out in front of the 77. And what can I can assume to be the race lead. I see both Soleil and Weebu in the picture here, and they are battling to get back up front, so we'll see where that comes out at. This is for the race lead, by the way. 26 is not on the lead lap, but who is on the lead lap and who is hard charging is the 420 and the 11. Here comes Soleil looking for the race lead again, being pushed by the 11. With the 85 just trying to get back up to speed. That is a no contest right there as Soleil takes the race lead. Unless there's somebody that's staying out that is trying to play one of the ballsiest moves in all of racing. Not a very traditional race here at the SuperSpeedway, but I guess I shouldn't be too shocked. Soleil hangs on to the race lead out of all that. Weebu in second, Nana in third, David in fourth, and then you got to go quite a ways back to find 5th place Tyroki, 6th place Williams, 7th place Malcolm. A lot of lap cars there. Let's see where Dreamer ends up at. Is he the next car? I think so. Yeah, Dreamer in 8th, Overdrive in 9th, now 8th place. Kyoso in 10th, Bimble in 11th. 12th place is Cali, 13th is Star at the moment, 14th is Kolo, 15th is Kason. There's Melody in 37th, Fifi in 16th, DM in 17th, Risu in 18th, Selen in 19th, Lumi and Watson 20th, 21st, 22nd is D, 36th is Iron Mouse, who is, you know, obviously lap sound. Nori is in 23rd, Henya is in 24th, and that's where we end up at because everybody else is a lap down and kind of, at this point, not to really be offensive, but they're just kind of irrelevant. For the moment being, unless there's a caution. Unless there is a caution, it looks like this is going to be a battle between what is currently the top 4, maybe the top 7. I saw a gap from 15 seconds dwindle down to less than a second. Anything's really possible here at Daytona, but I wouldn't be too shocked if we kind of see what the top 7 is kind of battling for the race lead. Top 3 have kind of been... Top 3 are by themselves right now. Nana going for second underneath Weebu, as Soleil's kind of hanging on. David's back up here battling. So, again, top 4 are kind of just together again. Not a whole lot of cars in this pack, at least for the moment being. You got the 2 right there battling side by side, 1, 2. Then you got Guro, who's a lap down, battling with Weebu and David. That's 5. Then you got 3 more with the 26, 52, and 17. So there's only 8 cars here. As Nana takes the race lead, side by side. Dead even. Oh my god. Very dead even. Like, so dead even, the timer thing on the top left doesn't even have it in the hundreds. That's in the thousands, I believe, in terms of how close that was. Nana hangs on to up front. Soleil hanging on to second for the moment, but Grua's kind of holding her up, at least, for the moment being. Getting really aggressive there behind. What in the world? David's just kind of hanging on right now, trying to gain a position away from Weebu. Soleil being a real aggressive driver right now, just kind of thwarting it in there at the last second. They're kind of getting closer and closer. I don't know what is going on. 80 laps down in the books. Almost 20 laps to go. 23 laps to go here. I mean, I guess if you want to say that they're starting to get more aggressive, I can understand that completely. 20 laps to go, and with this kind of pack, usually you don't want to make your moves too early, but this is when you kind of have to make your moves, because I haven't seen a whole lot of passing in this pack, especially like now after the pit stops, because of how small the pack is. If you get out front, that is probably your one and only shot of being out front. Caution! Caution's out. The caution is out. Uh-oh, turn one. Turn one looks to be where it's at. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. This is not good. Oh, no. That does not look good. Got Merriweather and Frew. Oh, no. This looks... What happened here? I gotta go slow motion here. So this is the first time I'm seeing this. This is back with William and Malcolm. Oh my god. Merriweather too high up the track into the 84. Spinning across the bottom, up to the top, into Fillion, into Hano, and oh Jesus. Up and over goes to 78. On two wheels goes to 78. The 86 is very damaged up. Not more so than the 78. Where else is a good shot here? I don't... Is everybody fine from this wreck? Is it just a 3-car wreck? I mean, everybody else back here, that's as far back as 8th place. Oh my god. What a... Well, I think I could safely say this now changes everything. Fruit, Hano, and Fillion all get involved in an accident with 20 laps to go. And now, we're going to have a restart. Wow. I for sure thought we were just going to run that to the end, but oh my god. Again, this changes a lot. I don't know who the lucky dog is. I think it might be Gura who's going to get the lucky dog. I'm not entirely too sure. It should be Gura. Because she is the first car one lap down. We have 24 cars on the lead lap at the moment. That is insane. The gap from 4th to 5th was only 11 seconds. I say only because now that gap is going to be completely wiped. And we are going to have all 24, maybe 25 cars, at least, battling for contention for the win. When we only had 4 just not too long ago. We only had 4 cars battling for the win. And now we're going to have more than 15, maybe 20 cars. I don't know. We are going to see a chaotic restart here. I mean, if it was already chaotic with like 20 laps into the race, 20 laps to go, it's going to get more chaotic. I'm going to turn this game up just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Also, hello, Fuse. It's going to get chaotic here. Got 20 laps to go here when we cross the line again, and that's what the leaderboard looks like at the moment. Again, very, very tight now that the caution has come out. When it was just 4 cars battling for the win. All it takes is an accident like that. That is all it takes to change the complexion of this race. And that's what the whole season's going to be about, is whether or not you can survive these kinds of scenarios. And right now, there is a horribly tough task for the top 4 now that everything just kind of happened. There goes Gura. She's going to be waved around. There goes... She'll be back on the lead lap now. Looks like so is the 17. Maybe we're going to get a couple extra cars on the lead lap, too. Or it might just be those 2. I don't know why Fu got waved. Nope, never mind. The very delayed Lucky Dog responses here by Race Control. But hey, like I said, I don't control it. a very tough task ahead for everybody involved here. I was literally going to go on board with David here, just kind of, because, like, that was going to be the one way that I was going to be able to just, like, change up what we've been seeing. And it's a nice view. This is a hell of a view. I'm going to, again, turn up the volume. There we go. Got a couple more cars going down low. Now, are we getting the one green? No, not right now, we're not. That's what I'm also talking about as well, by the way. The back of these cars, they do have the names, and they do have rookie stripes for the most part. Not our leader, though. Right now, we're on board with the 85 car. A couple cars getting the wave around here. Couple extra cars getting the wave around than I anticipated, but again, it's Daytona. We'll see how things work out here for everybody involved. Now, I do believe Melody is two laps down, but I'm not too sure if that's because of damage. I think that's just because Melody just had a horrible green flag run. I mean, there's a lot of cars that had a horrible green flag run. And they're all going to get a second chance now, with less than 20 laps to go here. Less than 20 laps to go, how aggressive do you think these guys are going to be? Because if they were aggressive 30 laps into a 103-lap race, can you imagine how aggressive they're going to be with only 20 to go? I think the aggression's going to pick up a little bit. I'm just saying, I mean, it looked like it was already picking up with the way that the top four and that pack around them was running. They were really pinching each other in the corners, and they were trying to just stay on the bottom. A lot of the cars from the middle line, I mean, like, when you run 80 laps, you get a good feel of how the track runs. The middle line and the high line, you're going to lose spots. It doesn't matter, especially if you're very packed up. You got to be on the inside, so the closer to the apron you are, the faster you're going to be. So if you pinch as low as you can, you might get a better shot at keeping your position. But as we saw, it doesn't always work out in the favor of the pincher. One lap to green here. Got a couple cars coming to the bottom here. Got a very damaged 86 car, which I saw the rear end completely screwed up on. There's Sprite in the 90, the 36 of Melody, who I believe is, yes, 2 laps down. The only car 2 laps down is the number 36. As you see, the 86 has yeah. Looks like the 86 is also going to get waved around too. Which might be a smart move by race control. Again, I don't control race control, but I do believe that that is a good move. The 86 will be a... if that damage does not get fixed, that 86 is going to be just a horrible car to run around. And imagine that running around here with this many cars on the lead lap. Especially aggressive. How aggressive these drivers are going to be. If the 86 gets that damage fixed, they will be in contention to win this race. But that's if they decide to repair that damage. Quickly before we go, let's go through the top 10. We have Soleil in first, David in second, Nana in third, Weebu in fourth, William in fifth, Malcolm in sixth, Tyroki 7th, Dreamer 8th, Bimble 9th, Kyoso 10th. And then you see everybody else behind them just outside the top 10. We have 5 cars on the inside, and they are not on the lead lap. They are all, with the exception of Melody, 1 lap down. Are the cautions gone for the day? Will we see a green flag run with less than 20 laps to go to the finish? Questions will be answered here soon. But for now, we are racing here at Daytona again. Soleil hanging on for the moment being. Again, everybody on the inside line currently, which is the preferred lane. This is the best kind of restart for Soleil. Just kind of hang on while everybody else just kind of thwarts underneath you, but not for position. And Sprite edges out and ahead, but again, not on the lead lap. The leader right now still is the 420 car. However, some competition on the very bottom as Williams going to try and take the race lead away from the very bottom of the track as Melody still is 2 laps down. William takes the lead out of that as they're still 3x3. Again, you think they're going to be aggressive? Because the obvious answer is going to be yes. William hangs on to the lead. Bimble in second on the inside line with Dreamer just kind of following suit. Sprite, of course, ahead of everybody else, but again, not on the lead lap. I always want to reemphasize that because you never know. You never know. Kyoso coming back up again. Oh, they're 4 wide back here. They are 4 wide. Okay, now they've gotten it settled. That actually was a little bit more intense than I thought. But they somehow made 4 wide work here at Daytona. I don't know how, but they did. Bimble's going to lead that lap, and here comes Kyoso to make from 10th place, by the way, last time by, to 2nd. Now first. Just trying to get a good view of what the pack's like right now. David, who started 1-2, they're back behind the top 10. They are back behind the top 10. Callie now trying to take the race lead away. 3 wide for the race lead. Now side by side for the race lead as Callie just kind of trying to squeeze Sprite up the track. Not really for any particular reason. But the next place, 2nd place, is now Risu, who is trying to get underneath Melody to just get in position to take the race lead away. Callie leads that lap, and we have 89 laps in the book, I believe. Yes. Well, this time by, we will. Single file through some parts of the beginning of this pack, I should say. As you see, there is the 86. And that's what I mean. They are a complete and oh my Jesus. Roadblock, if you will. No rear end on that 86 car. No rear end on that 86. And he's going to file down to the pits again. Oh boy, and all because of that, they were 4 wide for a split second. A lot of cars that were at one point in no man's land, out of contention. Absolutely no chance in hell they would win this race. They are now up front, battling for the race lead. We got Fifi, we got Callie, we got Nori, we have Kason, we have Lumen back up front. We have Risu, who's filed up on the top line there, but battled for the lead at one point. Nori trying to go for the race lead. We have 13 to go. Lucky number 13 to go when we cross the line. Soleil's back on the bottom of the track here, so they will be able to at least contend for the race lead. I think Kason led that lap. That is a close one there. I don't think Nori got it. I think it was Kason by a 100th of a second. How Daytona is, you want to get that bonus point for leading a lap, and here you go. This is your time. No better time than now. Lumen trying to hang on to the race lead. Fu is back up front, by the way, after getting waved around. Well, there's that. Fu, who once again was another one of those cars that was in no hope of winning this race. He is out front, possibly for the lead. They are 4 wide almost. They were nearly. That would have been the mega one if that would have been the case. And now back to the race lead goes the number 420 car of Soleil. Back to the race lead. Started up front on that restart, then filed back outside the top 15. Now is back out front. And just as soon as I say that, here comes Nana to the race lead. With Lucky following suit. And then you got D on the inside as well. Now second on the inside line. Good lord, they keep moving around so much. There's a good look at it right here. D has a huge run. 3 wide for the race lead. I mean, 3 wide all over the goddamn track. Iron Mouse is not on the lead lap, so they aren't in contention for now, unless they get a lucky break with a caution. But if that happens, the wreck's going to happen right out front. It's going to be catastrophe. I think D led that lap, yes. And now Henya looking on the bottom to try and take the lead away. Weebu in second on that bottom line, with Tyroki third on the bottom line. I think Fruit is a lap down as well. Yeah, Fruit is a lap down. Repaired some of that damage, but again, lost a lap in the process. But still in contention to make a move here. Try to get something out of it. This is the best case scenario for Henya, though. Just kind of hang on to the bottom line while you got somebody who's not in contention for the race lead. Possibly the race win. On that back bumper. Now this is what Daytona's like. Everybody is in this pack. Everybody. Maybe with the exception of 1 or 2 cars. Henya will lead that lap. Okay, we have Philly and Selen. Those are the only 2 cars that are out of this pack. I think the 86. Yeah, it looks like the 86 retired from the event. Maybe not retired, but they are 4 laps down. When you get involved in an accident, then it's got a lot of damage. At a super speedway, you might as well just pull it in, am I right? DM is now the leader. I cannot really stress anything enough how crazy this is. I try to commentate about anything else, and it's like, oh, I missed the battle for the lead. Oh, I missed a car going from last to first. A little bit of calm battle here up front. DM hangs on for the race lead. Watson in second, following suit. David and Malcolm 1 and 2 on the inside line. Okay, maybe not 1 and 2 on the inside line, but they're trying to be. Big checkup. Big checkup on that bottom line there. Not enough to split up anything, but there was a slight checkup. 197 miles an hour down the backstretch. Keeping on that race lead right up at the front of the field. Not where the 84 is, but where the 37 is, and where the 2 is wanting to go. Got less than 10 laps to go here at Daytona. You want to be up front. Never know what's going to happen in the back of the field. Things are going to get shaky here. A little handful of laps to go. Risu hangs on to second, but it's DM out front. Pushing the 84 car. Just trying to hang on to the race lead. 95 laps in the book. Fillion is a slow car here, and she is going to be a massive problem here with a handful of laps to go. They will catch her. The question is what will the 78 do? Will she move out of the way like the 86, or will she move out of the way? Looks like it, yeah. 78's going to move out of the way and allow the pack to go by. So, all good there. The next closest car would be Selen in the 3. But Selen's all the way back in, I think, turn 3. Sprite is not on the lead lap, by the way. But one car who is the number 12 car, DJ Overdrive. He will take the race lead for the moment being. Here comes Dreamer on the bottom of the track. With about 7 laps to go. A little bit less than that, actually. Math is hard when you got an odd number at the end of that. Dreamer hangs on to second. But everybody else behind the top 3 are double file at the very least. At the very least. And then you got 3 by 3 by 3. I mean, Soleil restarted first. Came back from the back to the front. And now is back in last. At least in the pack. Dreamer slides underneath the 12. Takes the race lead away. But doesn't lead the lap. Just takes it away at the moment. Has to make it back to the line in order to lead a lap. But again, already has led one. So he doesn't need it. He's got that bonus point already. Handful of laps to go. This is getting intense. Hold your breath, folks. I don't think we are done with lead changes yet. Got Bimmel on the run here underneath the 73 of Cali. Looking underneath. Takes second away, but is looking for first here. Again, Sprite in the 90, not on the lead lap. So it's the 89 that's the leader. But if a caution were to come out right now, that 90 car is in the best spot you could possibly have. Field's kind of breaking away a little bit. Is there a caution on the field? Yes, there is. Oh, a caution is out. I knew something was up. That pack didn't look like it had 30 cars. It looked like it had less. What's the caution for here? Yeah, you see this pack right here? It didn't look full. I saw the 6 off center and out of the pack. Was there something to do with them? Oh, no. Oh, no. It's worse. It's worse. Big one back in the back of the field. Oh, the 6 had to do something with it, though. That's for certain. Nowhere safe. Weeboo. Let's look here. Weeboo just kind of had to check up, and then you got the 6 who couldn't check up in time, so they were 4 wide. Weeboo not clear, clears themselves off the 6, slides down the track, up into the 99, and then collects 4 cars in this whole wreck, with the 99, the 17, and the 24 getting a piece of the action. I don't want to say that's bad. Let me look at that in real time. I don't think that's bad. There is some bent up metal, but I don't think that's bad. There goes the 11. There they go. Up the track. Bam! I don't know. I think the worst out of that may have been Foo, but the worst is kind of a kind of deal there. They should be all fine. I think the worst was Foo, who got, looks like some side damage. Looks like some side damage on the left side. Oh, and the right side. Yeah, there's some... It is bent up a little bit on the sides. I think Simu has some on the right side. And I mean, there's nothing... I don't think there was nothing anybody could do there. I mean, the 6 had a run. Could have probably let out a little bit. The 6 had a run on the 11. And the 11 just kind of had nowhere to go, I guess. Just wasn't expecting a car to be underneath them when they're already on the inside line. So, again, may have been just, it's just a race and ordeal. And that's just kind of how things are going to be. In any case, we are going to have a restart. That is not going to end the race. We are going to have a restart, and it might be a green-white checkered. Or it might be as soon as it's green, white, checkered. Finish. We're either going to have a 1-lap shootout or a 2-lap shootout. We are going to get a finish, though, to this race. So all Dreamer has to do right now, who is the current leader, all they have to do is survive 1 lap, 2 laps maybe, around this track. It looks like Iron Mouse is the lucky dog. So hell, even Iron Mouse has a chance to maybe win this race. I think Sprite kept themselves out front, if I remember correctly. I don't see them up front. Yeah, they're spread at the tail end. But, you know, tail end of this pack, and has a shot to win this race. The pace lights are out. Nobody wanting to pit. Nobody electing to pit. Here we go, boys. 103 laps around this track. And we really needed that extra 3 laps, didn't we? Let's go through and let's see who has a shot to win this race. If the name is called, they have a shot to win. We have Dreamer up in front in first place. We have Bimble in second. We have Henya in third. Callie in fourth. DJ Overdrive in fifth. Merryweather in sixth. Kason in seventh. DM in eighth. Fifi in ninth. William rounds out the top 10. Go back to 11th. You'll find Bao. In 12th place, you'll find Noriboshi. In 34th place, you'll have Fruit, who has no shot of winning this race. Lumen in 13th. Kyoso in 14th. Risu in 15th. Nana in 16th. Soleil in 17th, Lumi in 18th, Gura in 19th, Malcolm rounds out the top 20, David in 21st, Watson in 22nd, Kobo in 23rd, Tyroki 24th, D in 25th, Lucky in 26th, Star in 27th, with a little bit of side damage still, but has a shot to win because they're on the lead lap. Weeboo in 28th, not the worst out of that, but still has some damage. Simu in 29th, Fu in 30th, 31st is Solen, 32nd is Sprite, 33rd is Iron Mouse. All of them have a shot to win this race. 3 laps to go here at Daytona. Green flag. Who will survive? Single file through the top 5. Bimble makes the first move out of there. Down to the inside. Takes the lead away. Well, actually hangs on to the bottom. Edges out in front. Callie second on the inside line. Callie's going to make a move. No, Bimble's going to move up the track, allowing the 73 to make a move, as we see Kason throwing it down to the very bottom of the track, making a move 3 wide, but not for, well, it's for 5th, which is a good setup spot. It's a good setup spot. DJ hanging on to 2nd on the inside line, trying to take 2nd away from Bimble. Kason in 3rd on the inside line, trying to take, I guess, would be 2nd, looking to make it 3 wide for the race lead. Fifi makes it 3 wide on Kason, though, and we have a handful of laps to go, and by that, I mean we have 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Callie hangs on to the race lead. DJ Overdrive in 2nd place on the inside the line. Fifi right behind there. Nori's coming up to the front of the picture here with just a couple more corners left. Does anybody make the move here? It is going to be Fifi who hangs on to the bottom line with Lumen all the way down to the apron, but down on the apron with maybe a ton of cars in front of him. Fifi is going to make a move for 2nd place here. Callie hanging on to 1st, though, off of turn 4. Next time by will be the white flag. This will do it here. 1 lap to go here at Daytona Motor Speedway. Callie hangs on to the lead this time by, but will she hang on to it this next time by? Nori takes it to the bottom of the track. They're going to door each other. They are stacking up behind. Big wreck in the backfield here. Lots of cars involved. Lots of cars missing it. Dreamer's upside down. Fifi with a ton of back end damage. Noriboshi, Lumen, Callie, the top 3 gone from the rest of the field. It is going to be a dogfight back here. Does anybody have anything left for the 94 who pulls out in front? Does not look like it. Side by side for 2nd. But all by herself, surviving the melee, Noriboshi is going to hang on and win it at Daytona. And the wrecks don't stop. Callie's around. And after the checkered flag is waved, there goes the 73 and a ton of cars in the pack. Tons of cars with damage. Demolition Derby here at Daytona. Not the last wreck. There's Soleil, who gets 4th out of it with a very mangled race car. We need to look at that last lap, though. If I may. Lots of cars getting involved in the melee here. I see Dreamer upside down, which is, I guess, a big summary of how this race ended up. I want to get a helicopter view of this, because this looked... I don't know who started it and where. Like, right here, up at the front of the field, we'll look at this whole replay here. Nori's already dooring with Callie for the race lead. I mean, Lumen had a shot right here to win it. It was right, like, they're 3 wide for the race lead right there. And that's not the only place they were dooring. Right here. It started legit behind the top 3. Looks like DJ in the 12, Fifi in the 53, and Risu in the 2. They all got right on top of each other. And that caused this big wreck right here. The 53 gets turned. Up the track they go, in front of the entire pack. Literally in front of the entire pack. I mean, legit nowhere else for everybody to go. Dreamer just gets tagged. Nowhere for him to go. Tyroki, nowhere to go. I mean, you look at this pack of cars that is stacked up because of it. David, Nana, Bimble, DM, all had a shot to win. And then they were just filed to the top of the track. Here's the 1 car. Sorry, the 89 car getting just bitch slapped on the driver's side door by the 84. Just pile drives him. I mean, all in all, it was not a bad wreck. Like, there was surprisingly not a lot of cars involved. Actually, like, in fact, there might be just like 4, maybe 5. I mean, DM gets turned around. Like, let's look at DM real quick. DM gets turned around sideways, hits the wall, but keeps it straight. William gets some damage out of it, but obviously everybody else has some damage at this point. We'll go through the final results here, because obviously with this much chaos, too much to settle out. I mean, everybody's on the apron out of 1. Everybody's on the apron running 170, and then here's the final battle right here. 193 miles an hour through the rest of the I mean, nothing could be done from second on back. It was evident once that wreck started that the 94 of Noriboshi was going to win this race. And that wasn't the last of the wreck either. As you see, Lumen and Callie right on top of each other. And I think Lumen just said, just turned him. Turned the 73, and there's the stack up. It doesn't matter because it was already past the line. It was already past the line, so any damage is really not really validated. I mean, there's just, everybody's got damage. Everybody's got damage with the exception of one car, and that is the 94 car, who edges out everybody else and wins here at Daytona. What a race. What a race here. Noriboshi hangs on, survives the last lap melee that happens, and a good start by the 94 team, as they will, I mean, just out of nowhere, you're thinking like tons of different names are going to win this race, but it's not the one you're thinking of that wins it, as it's just how SuperSpeedway racing works. Absolutely insane right there. Cars are filing into the pits here. We'll go through the final results, and we'll even look at some of the points. I mean, it's not really necessary because of, it's going to be just the finishing order, but with maybe a few things changed here and there, but we'll still go over it because it is important. It is just as important that we look at the point situation here. Even turn on some music here, some BGM as well. So, that out of the way, let's finally take a look at the finishing results here for this event. So, I gotta move my thing real quick. Alright, here's the final results of the event. We'll go through them all here. So, Noriboshi hangs on to the... Noriboshi leads one lap the entire race. Just one lap. And it's the one lap that they needed to lead. So Noriboshi hangs on, gets the race lead at the very end of the race, gets the win at Daytona. Callie will take home second, Lumen will take home third, and Soleil, after all of that, will survive and finish fourth. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't remember where Soleil was at the beginning of the last lap. I am pretty sure Soleil just, like, got through everything. Like, I don't know. I was gonna, like, see, like, let's take a look. I might actually do that. For the race recap, I'll probably talk more about that last wreck, because that was a hell of a last lap. Rounding out the top 5 is the number 2 car of Saiki Risu. Outside the top 5, we got Merriweather in 6th place, Kason in 7th, DJ Overdrive finishes in 8th, Kyoso in 9th, and Malcolm Bell rounds out the top 10. Further down the list, we have Henya finishing in 11th, Simu finishing in 12th, Watson finishing 13th, Weebu rounds out the day in 14th spot. Not bad for starting in the very back of the field and also being one lap down for a majority of the race. Star will end up finishing 15th out of all of that. Still, again, when you look at the fact that that whole last stint was set up because of the 11 and the 24 car, them finishing right on top of each other, 14th and 15th respectively, still could be worse. 16th place goes to Bao, 17th goes to Lumi, 18th goes to D, 19th place goes to Fu, and rounding out the top 20 is Sprite. 21st is Selen, 22nd is Kobo, 23rd is Tairoki, William gets 24th, Gura takes home 25th, Lucky in 26th, Bimble takes home the 27th spot, DM takes home 28th, David 29th after a good strong run, leads 17 laps, and that little asterisk right next to that 17 in David's name, right next to David's name, where it says 17 with that asterisk, that's how many laps he's led. That's the most amount of laps he led. He's going to need that extra bonus point because of how bad he finished. But he finishes 29th. Nana finishes 30th. Iron Mouse just had a horrible last run there. I mean, you look at the interval here from the winner, 36 seconds behind the leader. Behind the winner, I should say. So, Iron Mouse just had a terrible last run there. And then we get to the last remaining few drivers in this event. With Fifi in 32nd, Dreamer 33rd after a pretty strong run, but just wrong place, wrong time. Gets involved in the last lap ordeal. We'll finish 33rd. Fruit 34th, Melody 35th, Billion 36th. Those last three finishing 2 laps down. And we had one person retire from the event, and that was Hano in the 86 car, finishing 37th, 15 laps down. Before we get into the points, though, real quick, we had 47 lead changes in this event, which accounts for almost half of the race, being a different leader every single other lap. And we had 26 cars. 26 cars will get a bonus point for leading a singular lap. So 26 drivers spread it across 47 different leaders and lead changes. Let's look at the points now, shall we? Since that is also very important here in this situation. Like I said, nothing really spectacular is going to be the case. It's kind of the same. It is actually, I would say, it's exactly the same from the finishing standings to here. So in terms of the position, is all relatively the same. However, let's look at where the behind is on the chart here. We're going to look at where it says points and then behind. Nori is going to hang on to the points lead heading into Texas next week. But she's only going to have 4 points above Callie in second. 5 points. Lumen is behind. Soleil is 6 points behind Nori. And then we have an 8-point spread between first and fifth with Risu just kind of there. Looking at how many laps were led in this race, Soleil was really close to leading the most amount of laps here as we venture through the points here. Soleil led 13 laps and David led 17. Again, those bonus points are going to really mean a lot. You look at some of these points too, there's a lot of positions where there's a tie for a spot. Fu and Sprite are tied for 19th. We have Kobo and Tyroki tied for 22nd. We have Lucky and Bimbo tied for 26th. We have DM and David tied for 28th. A lot of spots in the back, obviously, but definitely still a lot could be done and changed within the course of a race or two. Now, again, with Hano and with pretty much the back 5 with Dreamer, I don't want to say back 5, back 4 with Fruit, Melody, Filion, and Hano all just struggling to get the season going. I don't want to say they're out of the championship. It is way too early to call that. It's way too early to call something like that. We got 29 more races left. There is a chance that somebody from the bottom 10 to make it big in this season. Again, Daytona is one of those tracks where you can't base your season off of a singular race because of how chaotic it is. We had 103 laps to showcase that, and we showed it off there. So, it was a very, very crazy race, no doubt about that, though. Without really getting much into, I guess, what we're going to be saying. I mean, like, it's a good teaser without really getting teased all that much. Because we got Texas coming up, and who knows what Texas is going to be like. Because it's not going to be like this, I'll tell you that much. But probably for a different reason that isn't so bad. But again, this is what the points look like heading into Texas next week. It's going to be chaotic. These are going to be 10 drivers we're going to be keeping an eye on. But we also are going to be keeping an eye out on the rest of the field here. I mean, again, we are the top... Basically, the top 18, top 20 are all separated by 20 points, which is about 20-ish positions. So if one person has one bad race, they're going to drop a lot of spots. The points are going to shift and change a lot, just like this race. Just like how it happened in this race. We'll really keep an eye on... we'll really keep an eye on the wins and how many top 5s and top 10s and also how many poles somebody has. Not really going to matter what the top 5 and top 10s are, but it's nice to know if somebody's been consistent or not. The more top 5s, probably the better off they are in this championship hunt. That out of the way, though, that'll do it for today. We will be back sometime next week to do it all over again and make really just a lot of answers be known as to who's going to be in a much better spot. That out of the way, let's get a raid going, shall we? I will be back sometime this week. I don't know when, though. But I will be back to do it all over again. Next Sunday, we will be back at Texas, though. That is a for sure gimme. We will be back at Texas. That out of the way, I'd like to say thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will be back. Take care, and have a good night.